It took me enough momentum, but I fucking got it now. It's like almost 7 at night. But I would like to talk about something that I've been thinking about in relation to like the understandings that I have about like the Creator, God, you know, whatever you want to call. And I think I can see some correlations to a lot of ways that they would describe, like the way a Catholic or even a Protestant, I suppose, would describe God. I'm not going to make a whole video of like, and then I'm going to show people say things, and I'm going to be like, and then like, you know, that's my fault. But there's a couple things that I did want to talk about, and we'll see where this goes. There's always this stream of consciousness. I don't plan these things. We'll just see what happens. Stupid me's thing. Me in the background. History. So anyway, because I've been working on the book for quite a while, it's kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I've discussed it before, where like it kind of helped me see God in this, right? Like I said, it kind of formed my religious views in a sense, and the reasoning behind that is very obvious. One, it's because of what I'm doing, I get a greater appreciation for how much it is. Now, I can't make things the way God can make things, but I mean, like I can't manifest exactly, you know, like life and all that stuff, nor should I. Well, I can, but in a different way. But like, I got thinking about, okay, I'll just word it like this. So from what I understand, when it comes to people, well, mostly Christian and Catholic, I would even just put in a smaller box, the way to describe God as this perfect being, because, you know, you don't want to have, it's basically you describe him in such a way where you don't want it to be a being that's like us, because then that takes away from it, and that basically isn't doing it justice, and it can't be that. It's even greater than that, right? So it's unfathomable, it's perfect, it's never could be understood, right? And there's this whole Catholic thing going into, and how it feels, and you feel through it, and God is everything in between, and all that stuff. You know, there's a whole thing. I'm not going to go into it all, but I heard examples of how it works. Now, this is how I believe there is a creator, because let's use the book for instance, the peoples of the book. All of the characters that I've ever made, Cypherus, Titus, Nacum, Vathia, Geralt, Anna, Eris, Cardia, Jal, Vasha, Quinlan, Quertus, Quinn, a bunch of other fucking people, you know, they all live in that world inside my head. They're all doing their own independent things, right? They all have their own goals. They all live in their own areas. They all have their own agendas. They know their own different types of people. They have their own friends, enemies, life story. They've explored it. Well, I've explored it through them. Now, they're not living it exactly, but I did plan their lives for them. I created them. I let them grow a bit, but I also kind of planned what I want to do with them. I kind of moved them in their areas that I would like them to be, you know, or else they won't do anything at all. For instance, I had a hard time with Eris because he wouldn't do anything. I made him, this sounds weird to say, but I don't know how to explain it any better than this. I made him, and I had a hard time getting him to leave the city, the first city, because why would he? Everything was like, well, there's no reason to. I literally had to destroy the city to get him to go. You know, divine will in a sense, but it's not divine. It's just me. It's the artist. It's the author. I had to create a scenario to make him move. And resistance is very good to get people to, well, they have resistance, but what you got to do is keep putting shit in front of them to resist. So they're all alive. Quinlan is doing his own thing. He doesn't even come from the realm of the book. He comes from without the realm, but he still is part of it all. And because, you know, him, or like, who else did I say, Nakim, or Nakim, however you want to say it, he lived his whole life thinking that he was always in control, and slowly he's going to have to learn that he's not. That's me, you know, but not like in a weird way. Like, I should say, his character doesn't believe in the creator and all that stuff. Well, he kind of does, but he doubts. There's a thing. Just read the fucking books when they come out in like 50 years. They all have their own views on things too that have changed their lives, and through their views I kind of go through and live it and experience through them, through their lens, their vocal point, and that wouldn't be right? And I can be a part of this, is what I'm trying to say, but not directly. Each character is a part of me. Is a small part, a big part, or a part of someone I know combined with mine. It's a whole different thing. But each character does have me within them, but none of them are me. Much like how they talk about the creator, he can't necessarily be, like, unless it was Jesus and all that stuff, but he can't be here like we can. Like, I just won't look at him and say, well, there's God, he's walking by again, I don't know what he's doing. This is the third time this week. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. But through me, he can grow, live, understand, whatever. I don't even know. It's unfathomable, right? Much the same with the book. Now, the characters might know that the God, let's pretend that I'm a God, right? It's kind of blasphemy, but let's just roll with this. And they identify me. They don't really know what I am, but they identify there's this hand in here. Let's say that world I created manifests in its own realm. Like, what if that's how that works, right? And it manifested in that world. It really does exist in another dimension, or whatever science would say. And they're like, well, we think there's a creator. We feel the guiding hand. Sometimes he says a lot, sometimes he says nothing. And everyone thinks that the creator's on their side. And I am on everybody's side. And they, and everyone feels in their lives. Some people don't feel that much. I'm sure there's characters that I don't give a lot of attention to. They don't feel it. They're like, well, fuck that guy. He's not even really important to me. They will never understand what this is. Keeping with the idea, let's pretend they're real. They will never know what this room is, this room of creation. They'll never fathom that. This is the reason that the Forgotten King is such an important part. For me, I am the author of this book. And this may sound very blasphemous, but this is true. My Jesus is the Forgotten King. That's me going into this realm. I am the Forgotten King. I am trapped in the realm of creation, making this book. I feel it's like the metaphor, or whatever you want to call it, for how I feel when I make this book. I feel like it's tiring. I can never escape it. The work's never done. I never even meant to take this project on in the first place, but now that it's happened, it's consumed me fully. It's caused depression. It's made my life hell. It's also made it better. It's a lot of weird things, this whole thing. So my character, the Forgotten King, is me experiencing the book on the inside. Now, the characters, the whole metaphor for it, the characters are going to have to save the Forgotten King in order to bring balance back, right? And so that would be the metaphor of, like, we finished the fucking books and I'm free. It's all like, we've done it. I'm finally away. I don't have to be stuck in the book anymore. I can walk away from it. Hopefully. Now, that was all done on purpose. Not necessarily I sat down and planned everything. It just, the more I work on this book, the more I realize a divine hand. There are so many things I did not plan that manifested that I'll never be able to explain. There are other things that I forced into the book. And there are some things that I just used as filler and became amazing. The book definitely has moments where it has exponentially grown because of something that I cannot explain. I just consider it the divine hand that's helping me do this, for whatever reason. Now, the characters within the book will never know any of that. But they will understand the Forgotten King. They will understand the division between him and the Creator. They don't understand necessarily the story of the other realms and what the Aeon really are. They understand a little bit of them. There are a pantheon of gods that disappeared, were destroyed, who destroyed another pantheon of gods. That's what they'll understand. But they won't know that me, I'm behind all of that. I'm looking at everything and making it all happen. There are times where I want other characters to suffer. Eris, for instance, the main character, his whole story is about suffrage. And it doesn't seem fair. Again, let's go to real life. How is that fair? That I'm picking this one person to just suffer and to just be in absolute fucking agony and just their whole life, there is no reprieve. It will never get better for them. It might seem like it, but it won't. That's the whole objective of their being. How is that fair to that character? That's why I think it happens in real life. You know, I see it all the time. I see it at a grocery store, and I see that one person that maybe is a little lower frequency, maybe is struggling clearly, and their intelligence is sapped because of it, and they're just victimizing themselves, and so is everyone around them. And their lives are just tragic. There's no happiness in it. They never meet that person. Oh my God, I've seen that. I've seen people elderly that have never met the love of their life. Or maybe they did. But they're alone. And they're suffering. And it's just horrible. And that's the fucking life they have to live. And what part that plays in the whole scheme, I will never know. But I do know the scheme of my creation. And I know why every character that I've ever made struggles. Because their struggle is going to help another. The struggle that I put each character through, the growth that I give them, negatively or positively, some characters will grow negatively into the darkness, and some will grow positively in some sense, and some just kind of grow and everything will be taken away from them. They're all different. But like, yeah, they will end up helping something in real life, in the world that I understand, and the people I see around me. I don't necessarily know why I'm doing this, if that makes any sense. And to me it leads into that whole understanding of, oh, I don't remember the word. Fractal, I guess? I'm creating a creation because I feel like a creator's created my world around me, and I feel like I'm being dictated by that. Who knows if it goes further? Who knows if our creator's not feeling like, I gotta do this for the one, you know, I feel like I have divine will to do all that. I'll never know this. But I can't not believe that, you know? And I can't not see the similarities of like just being an author. I wouldn't even call myself an author because I've never I've never had any of this work published. Being in this position has allowed me to see things on a different level. Not like I'm a higher person, but it's just, it's kind of shown me different ways to look at life. You know, I believe everyone has that in something. I'm sure if I ask, you know, a mechanic that's a little bit higher thinking, he'll probably explain the same thing, you know, and everybody will have their own way, a musician or whatever. They'll explain the same thing. You do feel like you're creating It does feel real, first of all. I mean, it invokes real emotions in me. How is that not real? But at the same time, for me, I do feel like this is meant to happen. I was meant to make all of this. Now, the start of this book, which I have right over there, the journal, it came about out of just pure escapism. Like, I remember the time. I don't remember what I did, how it really started, but I just know it was during the times, like, I wrote it down somewhere, 2013 maybe, when I was doing the band stuff and I didn't have a job, or maybe I had the part-time job. I can't remember when I was working where. I could look this up, but it's too much. But I was doing all that stuff, and then I would come home just baked and think about things and play video games and stuff. And it was through that and watching some things like Star Wars and all the other stuff that I started to think, like, well, fuck, that's kind of cool. And then it began. You know, like, what if I tried this? What if I tried a little fun place? And then from there, it was nothing too serious, you know, it was more of a fun thing. Then there came a point where it got so real, it stopped being fun. Now it's like, I don't know when it happened, but there was some sort of transition of, this is really fun, I love making up the lore, and this is cool. And it transitioned into like, oh my god, this is a fucking headache, and like, this is just too much, and I would have to walk away from it for an extended period of time, like months, you know, one time a year, like I had to just, almost a year, I had to just walk away from it, and every time I come back, I make things, it's kind of stressful now. I don't want it to be stressful, so I try not to be stressful, but then every time I try not to be stressful, I fuck up things that don't make sense, and then I make more work for myself, so I do have to be in a Zen state almost, or a zone. And it's just become this really intense thing now. Now I can't just sit down and just like, oh, I just come here to escape. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like that now. Now it's not a fun escape. It's a job. You know, and I love it negatively. I love it in a bad way and a good way. I love parts of it, but I can't work 2 full-time jobs. Too tiring, dude. I don't have it. I mean, I was doing too many things at once, again, you know, between relationships and work and the book and friends. Like, I was overextending myself a little bit again. But we're getting back to that point of calmness. You know, my mind doesn't feel so fogged again. But within this book, yes, it sounds like it sounds like more of a negative experience than a positive, and in many ways it does feel like it's more negative than positive, but there's something that I cannot explain, and that is the guiding hand. I see the clues around me. I'm aware of it. I don't know how people pretend like they don't see it, but man, the signs are everywhere when you're looking. Not even looking, when you're just like allowing yourself to just take down your like ego and shit, and just like allow it to come. You might miss things, but when you do not miss them, when you actually hit it, holy fuck, dude, it opens up a world of like, this is all like divine. Now, I don't know why this book is, and maybe it's not divine in like a worldly sense where the whole world will take notice. I mean, in my world, in my circle, it's divine. This book is like magical. There are so many things that have happened in this that I can't explain. There are so many things that I've unlocked that have expanded my mind. It's allowed me to take in the real world in its own way. Historically, I have to study histories and stuff. It's allowed me to do that. It's also allowed me to hone in on the one thing that I can do, and that's just watch people and try to understand. And I translate that into the book, where the characters and the problems that they'll go through, I can explore on a deeper level, you know? Much deeper than he was melancholy. Perhaps it was because of his mother's passing. Like, I go way deeper than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of the niche, or whatever you want to call it. It's the ingredients to my book. It's very, I wouldn't really say cerebral, but it's focused a lot inside the head more than it is outside the world. You'll notice that if you ever read it. It's like, barely do I ever talk about the world. I'm like, oh, then this is, you know, the world. But anyway, that's not important. That's there, sure, I'll explain what it looks like and stuff, but it's not the world that's the character. I mean, it is a character, but the character of the world is more on the back burner. My goal is to explore the minds of these characters, their tragedies, their feelings, and their emotions. Like, that's center. And for whatever reason, it didn't really, again, like, I didn't plan any of this, so I didn't know. I literally had to learn how to be a writer, because I was like, well, fuck, I'm making this world. I would have these journals, and I've got like countless journals. I have a lot of journals. And every time I'd fill one up, I'd go get another one, and then I'd fill it up and I'd get another one. And all it would be is just lore, stories, me wondering about characters. Parts of it are like journal, like diary of my real life, and then other ones are just me venting about things, making up people, making up like fun little things and poems and stuff, talking about characters. Again, more lore, more history. That's all it was for so many years. And then there came a point by like this journal where I was like, I guess I gotta make a book. I gotta write this. Because I don't know how to animate, I don't know how to make a video game, I don't know how to do that, so I'm gonna have to like fucking write this. I can't make this a movie, I don't have any way to do that. So the being a writer thing was totally on accident. It just happened. You should look at my early writing, man. It is so bad. It's like an 8th grader. And I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? Like, I'd never worked on that. I didn't write when I was young. I didn't fucking want to do that. Same with drawing. All the drawings were done. I didn't draw when I was young for fun. I would doodle, but I didn't like enjoy. I hated art and stuff like that. And music. I didn't really like music that much in a way where I wanted to ever play it. Like, this is shit that happened in my 20s. My childhood, I was too busy being a kid. So I didn't explore this stuff. And now it's like, this book has forced me to like, well, you need to learn how to play music. You're gonna need to learn how to like fucking write. You're gonna learn how to draw, paint. I have to learn. I got this fucking computer thing that allows me to draw on the screen. I don't know how to fucking do that, but I gotta learn how to do it. It's just a new skill I'm gonna have to adapt. You're gonna have to learn how to do fucking, once I get more on, these YouTube videos are gonna be a little bit more involved because I'll have art. I don't have enough art. I'll show you the same 5 pictures over and over again in every video. I can't do that. But that'll have to be another fucking skill. So this book, and as another analogy upon many others, that it's just forcing me to grow up and forcing me to do things. And I'm so reluctant. I'm always dragging my feet like, oh, I don't wanna do a new thing every fucking day. And most days I don't do anything, but when I come back, I have to. But you can get lost in it. You definitely can get lost in it. You can definitely like. I mean, I thought I was the worst writer in the world. Every time I'd write, and just like, dude, this is so shitty. I'm so bad at this. But you just keep doing it and keep doing it. I mean, I don't even do it that hard. And I don't even do it that often. So, if that's a sign of anything, just do it again. It doesn't matter when or how long it was from the last time. Just try it again. But it's had to be, it has been the hardest thing I've done ever. And sometimes I wonder why I don't want to do other cool things. Like I always want to really get into like working on my vehicle, but I realize it's because my mind, it's here. This is my thing. You can't do everything. And I never really wanted to, and I did try though. You can't do it all. You know, I can't be this world-class guy that works on my truck. I can't also be this world-class musician, and I want to do the book, and I want to do like you cannot do it. Believe me, I would love to have my own garage right now, buy an old fucking F-150 or something, and just work on it. But I don't. There's no way. My mind is here. I cannot go and like I'm gonna also like learn every little component of like the vacuum lines, and I'm gonna learn about the master cylinder, and I'm gonna learn like I don't have time for that shit. I can do basic stuff, but I'm not gonna sit here and like learn the inner workings of the engine right now. There's no way I can cram any more of that shit in here. And oh, you could. I don't think you understand how much of the book's in here. Like, I'll be amazed that I'll walk away for months, and then when I come back, like maybe names take me a minute, but it all starts making sense again. All the plots and all the storylines and all the characters' motivations, it all starts to kind of come back again. This shit doesn't leave. It's definitely, what's the word? It's enveloped me fully. And I don't really know how else to explain it, besides I really do feel as if I'm meant to do this. Like it's all, I wouldn't even say like predetermined, but I would agree that like, for instance with the book, I have a general plot. I even wrote it all down for each character, and I broke it up into movements, and then from the movements it was into acts. The first act, the second act, the third, for every character. I generally know what they're gonna do, what they need to do. You need to go here, then you need to go there, then this needs to happen, and that does. But I have no idea how they'll get there and what they'll think when they're there. That's the stuff that I don't plan. That's the stuff that just happens in the moment. I don't know their motivations. I know the rise and fall of every character, but I couldn't tell you how they feel and how they got there and what they liked about it, what they hated about it. I couldn't tell you any of the personal stuff. But I will feel that, and I will be there with them, and that to me invokes more of like what the real creator's like. It must be. And it doesn't have to be, but it feels like it should be, you know, like that makes sense to me. I'm going to be, I've planned their lives out for them. He planned my life out, and it's going to be explored. And through the exploration, it's through him that I'm feeling and touching and seeing. So that's why it's a blessing. So that's kind of a little thing. This probably isn't a little video, but to me it's a short video of just the creator in the book. I don't really know what to fucking call it. I'm not very good at giving good titles, but I'll just call it creation. That's that. But anyway, tomorrow when I get out of work, we'll see. I hope I have the mental energy. I'm gonna pray for it, man. But we'll see what happens in the next video.